My parents had me when they were really young, so I did spend a lot of time at my grandparents' house, just with them helping out while my parents worked, etc. And then there was three of us, so then, we went over there a lot so my parents could get a break and have date nights and fun stuff like that. But the point is, as a kid, I just felt like I was special, like I was touched, like I was gonna do something fucking amazing. Not that my life isn't amazing, but you know what I mean? Like I just felt... Hey guys, welcome back to the show. So today is our Mindful Monday episode, but for me, it's a super special episode. And before I really dive in to my intention for the week, I wanted to open up this podcast with a tribute to my grandmother. So for any of you that follow me on Instagram or social media or whatever, you know that my grandmother passed away last week. And I knew that she was going to pass away soon. She's had Alzheimer's for about 6 years now. It's been really bad. In the last, I don't know, maybe 2 years is when it got to the point where I don't think she really knew who everybody was anymore. So I knew that it was coming, and I'd already lost the person that she was. But I was really upset this week because as soon as the virus hit and we went into quarantine, I had a sinking feeling that this would happen, that she would pass away in the middle of the quarantine and we wouldn't really get to celebrate her life. And I know that's really the celebration that we have for ourselves and for all the living and things like that. But, this is the one person out of all the fucking weddings and funerals that you go to because you feel like you need to and things like this. This is the one person who I would have wanted to celebrate more than anybody. I would argue that she was probably one of my favorite people in the world up until, I got married and had kids. And I was reflecting on that a little bit. And I know that grandmas are fucking magic and they do magical unicorn things. And I can't wait to fucking spoil my grandkids and pay it all back to my kids. But I was just reflecting, and I used my journal session yesterday to kind of reflect on why I felt like she was so special to me and why she was so magical to me. And, I'd had fun with it on social media and just did a tribute and did some fun facts about just things that came to my mind immediately, when I just think back about her and things like that. And, she was always just a really fun grandma. But what really came up for me yesterday was she really never doubted me, never doubted anything I ever said or wanted to do or wanted to be. And I don't talk about this a lot, but when I was a kid, and maybe all kids feel like but when I was a kid, I always felt like I was special and I was gonna grow up and I was gonna change the world and I was gonna change the trajectory of our family and I was gonna just do all these amazing things. And the best part of it as an adult looking back, and the part that I really want to embody again, is I didn't fucking doubt that shit. Not for 1 second. There was never a seed of doubt. There was no such thing as imposter syndrome. That shit did not exist in my realm. I literally felt like I was just buying my time until I was old enough to make those changes. Why I felt like as a kid I couldn't make those changes. Maybe it's because I didn't feel like I had the means. I'm not sure. But the point is, as a kid, I just felt like I was special, like I was touched, like I was going to do something fucking amazing. Not that my life isn't amazing, but you know what I mean? I just felt like just out of this world, otherworldly special. And I've been thinking about that a lot because I've been in this journey of self-awareness and rediscovering myself. And I would, have gone back to just thinking of things that have made me happy, etc. But I never thought about the people that were around me at that time or the things I was doing at that time or any of that. And I spent quite a bit of time at my grandparents' house. I was the oldest grandchild on that side actually on both sides of the family. And my parents had me when they were really young. So I did spend a lot of time at my grandparents' house, just with them helping out while my parents worked, etc. And then there was three of us. So then, we went over there a lot so my parents could get a break and have date nights and fun stuff like that. But back to the point of me and our relationship with her was that she never made me doubt any of those feelings. And I talked to her about those feelings. And if anything, she just amplified those feelings by telling me how special I was and how amazing I was and how my thoughts were so, progressive or thoughtful or whatever they were, right? Just never once planted a seed of doubt. And I don't know if that's just a grandparent thing. I mean, I don't know. I know as a parent, we probably fucking plant seeds of doubt every opportunity we get because we're so worried about our kids fitting in and doing the right thing, blah, blah, blah. So maybe that's an experience that everybody has with their grandparents. But for me, that was my experience with her. And, she truly made me feel like I was unstoppable and I could do anything. So I was writing her this letter yesterday, basically as part of my grieving process, since we can't have a traditional, funeral and things like that. I've been just trying to come up with my own little personal ways to pay tribute to her. So yesterday I took some time and I wrote her a letter, and then we're going to burn them in the fire pit or whatever. And just a simple way to just honor her with my family and the people who are most important in my life now. So that was pretty special. But out of that, I felt really, really unmotivated last week. I definitely drank too much, and that's something I've been working on a lot. So then I felt physically like shit for days. I'm too old for that shit. And I just did the bare minimum of the bare minimum. That day, I'd argue I didn't even really do much of shit. The day that I found out. But, I know that that's not gonna do anything. I know that that's not going to get me where I want to be. I know that's not how I can honor someone that really believes in me and my magic. But I also wanted to honor and give myself that space to have those feelings so that I could come out of the other side and be stronger, better, etc. So going into this week, I'm going to take as much action as possible on the things that make me just fucking on fire and light me up. And I am going to do that. So my intention for this week, to honor her and to honor that space, is I am unstoppable. No matter what comes up, no matter the biggest, scariest thing that you could never imagine, being quarantined in your house and the whole fucking world as you know it changing, is not going to stop me. And I will lean into, this is what was supposed to happen, and this is how things are going to happen, and I'm still unstoppable. It may not be the version that I envisioned in my head. It may not be my plan A, but whatever happens is supposed to happen. I will believe that. I will lean into that. I will continue to take fucking action every day, messy action every day, and I will blow forward with the idea in mind that I am unstoppable. And I will promise myself and you that every day next week, I am going to do things that make me feel good, that contribute in the most possible, highest way that they can, and I will push the needle forward. Because remember that 40% of our happiness comes from our intentional behavior, which are the things that we can control. So 40% of my happiness this week will be from things that I know I can control. Not my environment, not my genetics, not my circumstances, my intentional behavior. So I am super, super excited to lean in this week, start taking action again, and remember that I am unstoppable. So guys, let's lean into that this week. Share your stories with me on the Just Realized community on Facebook. Let's connect there. Share them on Instagram. Tag me. Whatever it is that you're working on this week that lets you feel and remind you that you are unstoppable. Thanks today for holding this space with me, letting me share these stories with you, and I will talk to you soon.